Hello, welcome to my YouTube live stream. Today is Friday the 6th of March. It's 6 o'clock p.m. UK time, and I'm going to stay here for a couple of hours. For those who don't know me, I'm a therapist and coach, and I use my free time twice a week here, every week, to talk about mental health, therapy, psychology, human behavior, and how we can enhance any aspect of our life from those places. So if you have any questions, just ask me, and I do my best to give you some actionable recommendations. And so the way I start my live streams is always by reading and commenting on some of my own posts. And at some point when I have some requests from you, I will address them. We have one from Huyayup. Hello, Huyayup. Hello, Didi. So happy to see you. How are you? I'm very well indeed. Thank you so much. How about you? Where was I? Yeah. So I'm going to get started by reading and commenting on some of my own posts. Where am I? Let's try this one. There's no such thing as a personality flaw, only patterns of behavior born from genetic and environmental factors that no one has ever chosen. So this is a very, very important conversation that I like to push more. And it's realizing that there's no such thing as a personality. Whatever we are is a collection of patterns of behavior that is the reflection of our development, of our adaptation to whatever we've been through. Everything. And so we only judge people for being anything derogatory. This is not only unkind, but it's actually very ignorant, because whatever that we are, we have never chosen. We don't choose our patterns of behavior any more than we choose our trauma, our parents, our upbringing, or hurt, or conditions. So yeah. I've got pizza. Why is so difficult to stay on the path? It depends what you mean by the path. The way that I see it is your whole life is the path. So you're always on it. There's not different path in your life. Your whole life is the path. Because your whole point in this existence is to experience what it is to be yourself. And so whatever you're going to go through in your life is the path. The path involves all the good stuff and the bad stuff. Everything about life is about contrast, and so we learn and grow through contrast. And so do you want to maybe clarify to me what you mean by the path? Everything is contextual, so maybe based on your perspective or the things that you are thinking about, then the answer will be different. But your whole journey is the path, and the moment we can realize this, the moment we can accept everything as a lesson, as a reason to have been in our lives, and this is where we can start to heal. Acceptance is a big part of healing. Who are you? I am dealing with mood swings, probably caused by hormonal imbalances, and have just been thinking a lot, not necessarily good or bad. Okay. So I wish you all the best with that. I hope that you have systems that help you return to a place of peace and clarity easily. Pizza, the path being proper thought and interpretation of emotion. The path being proper thought. So I'm trying to understand what you mean. What is a proper thought? Interpretation of emotion. In order to have a proper thought, we need to have improper thought. And at some point we realize that we want to develop a system. And so the development of that system is going to require some time and some focus. And so you are doing this. The moment you have an awareness, but you can change your thoughts and your relationship with your emotions and feelings, you're also already started on that path. It's just that I think I understand. You say, why is it so difficult to stay on the path? You are doing it already. The reason why you feel that it's difficult is because you want it to be 100% done and perfect right around now. And because of that, oh, you're thinking it's not good enough, I should be there. But everything is a matter of changing habits that have been installed for a long time. And by habits, I mean habits of thought and habits of emotions and feelings as well, not just habits of behavior. That's what it means, is that it takes time to undo things. And my suggestion for you would be to focus on continuing developing those new skills, those new understanding of yourself, as you have done already, and accept that every now and then you're going to have those things happening, because there's always going to be some resistance to new things, to change. It's a good system. If there was no resistance, then just a thought or an emotion could catapult us into the wrong direction. And so our brain has created a system of resistance to keep us safe. If something has been ongoing for a long time and we're still alive, as far as the brain is concerned, it's safe. So it's holding us back into those spheres. And that's why it's difficult to change. But by virtue of repetition and perseverance and baby steps, eventually that's how we challenge the old program and we rewire our brain, we create some new neural pathways and things start to happen. But there's got to be a process of repetition. And so it's not that you're doing bad or not good enough. It is the process. It was always meant to be involving ups and downs. And so, yeah, I think you're doing well. Fudu, hi, pizza, thanks, experience as a teacher. Yes, your whole life is a school. You're always learning. And so whatever that you're going through, all you need to do is to have a mindset that tells you that you are doing your best and your best is always good enough. As opposed to having a mindset telling yourself, it's not good enough, I should be better than that, why am I not here, or why I am not where I want to be right around now. And this is what is creating the problem, is the inability to accept ourselves for who we are at this point in time. Whatever that you are, whatever that you want to change, you must accept who you are. And someone asked me this last week about how to practice self-compassion, and this is it. We practice self-compassion by accepting that whatever that we are is the result of everything that happened to us, and we have never chosen anything. So we cannot have shame. We cannot feel bad about ourselves because we don't choose things. We are literally behaving based on the emotional program that we have inherited from our upbringing and even from our parents, genetically. And so, I mean, there's an element of genetic environment, both. But if we can realize that we never chosen to have problems, conditions, we don't choose to be angry, we don't choose to be anxious, we don't choose to be depressed, we don't choose to be overwhelmed, we don't choose to be negative or miserable, we're just what we are because of X, Y, Z. Then we can accept who we are as a potential. I can still love myself. I can still accept that my behavior is not who I am. My behavior, as mentioned at the beginning of that live stream in one of my posts, is no more no less than the collection of patterns of behavior that are the result of how we have developed through our upbringing up till now. And so the good news about this is that we can change everything about our personality. There's not a single thing about ourselves that we can't change. If we believe that we can't change, then our belief will become our reality. We will not even try because our belief will not allow us to do that. But if we can find a way to challenge our own belief and realize I can change everything about myself, not all of it in one go, and not maybe exactly like I want it to be, but I can change enough for my life to be different, then now we are on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. We can literally design a personality for ourselves. So yes, so I'm coming to the end of the thread for now. I'm going to continue reading and commenting on my own post until you have questions, guys. If you want to ask me about anything at all, I do my best to guide you as best as I can. There's a post that I put out on TikTok a few days ago that is causing quite a stir. A lot of people had some very aggressive reactions to it. So I'm going to read it and explain what I meant by that. Let me find it. I think the post was something like, if you choose to become a monster in order to defeat a monster, the monster has won. And so typically a lot of guys saying, oh, sometimes we have to be a monster. If you allow bad things to happen, this is why the world is in such a dire state. And it's not what I meant at all. Some people understand this, but a lot of people are reacting because they are only living in a black and white world, this or that, right or wrong, fight or be exterminated. And so what I mean is that if someone is attacking you, you must protect yourself. You're not a monster. The monster is attacking you, you're defending yourself. But if you decide to destroy the whole village with the kids and the wives and the old people and the innocent, now you have become the monster. That's what I meant. And we can all see this in the news. I'm not going to mention who, but I'm sure that you know who I'm talking about. And this is what I mean. Becoming a monster means turning into the people who have persecuted us. But it doesn't mean that if someone is attacking me, I'm not going to defend myself. I'm not a monster if I protect myself. I am a monster if I want revenge on their whole family and community and tribe. Hope it makes sense. Bilal, what is the topic? It's whatever you want it to be. I'm here to have a chat with you guys. So psychology, mental health, therapy, mindset, mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and all those things and more. That's what I'm here for. Shuchin said hi. Hello. Lifestyle chat. Hello. Chushin, what was that about projecting versus expanding? Okay. Let's talk about it. Let me find the post. I've read so many things. Just bear with me. I think I know which post you're talking about, but I need to find it. I don't know where it is. Let me try to remember. Projecting. Could you remember the post, please? Shushin, I produced so many things. It's difficult for me to remember. I've got a vague feeling of what it is, but I can't find it. I think it's something to do with empathy. I'm sorry, but I can't find it. And I don't want to spend another 5 minutes just looking for it. But if you can remember, that'd be good. If you can give me some cues about the post itself, I would like to extrapolate on it. Pizza. Many live a life that is inherited. No one that is chosen. Having the insight to take control comes from introspection. So what we inherit from, we inherit from the momentum, from the direction. We don't inherit from our life. Within our life, we still have some decisions that we can take. Now, of course, there's the conversation about whether free will exists or not. So that's a whole different debate. And I can talk about it if you want. But I think what you are saying is that we don't choose our birth or luck or culture or parents or bullies or trauma. And so this is inherited. However, it's only the start of our life. And so how we're going to deal with life despite our start is what we're going to make out of it. So we don't inherit a life, we inherit a start in life. Having the insight to take control comes from introspection. So the way that I'm going to change this is not control. We don't want to control anything. We want to understand things. And this is a very important thing for me to highlight, because everyone wants to control yourself, control your emotions, control your life, be disciplined, and all of those things. And I believe that this is actually a problem. There's a time to focus on things, but there's a difference between focusing and control. Control implies that we are able to maintain pressure on something for forever. And because life is made of time, we can never control anything. We can have a power of influence, guide something in one direction, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but we never can control anything. Even if we hold something, it's only going to be for a moment. At some point, many things can happen so that we can lose that control. And so I'm going to rephrase this for you. in order to change our life, in order to be able to change the direction of the momentum of the start of our life, what we need to do is to have luck. We need to have luck. We need to learn how to listen to our intuition. So again, yeah, it's a matter of luck. It really is. Because whatever that we do or don't do or allow is down to our emotional setup. And our emotional setup, again, is the program that we have in childhood. So it's not that people are choosing not to heal. It's not that people are choosing not to change. It's that they're not able to because of their own trauma. The inability to change is a trauma response, literally. So when people say, you are choosing this, we're not really choosing it. So there's a lot of luck involved. I believe that when we are constantly on the go through life, we are being run by the automatic pilot, which is our subconscious mind, which is emotional. But that's when we are chasing the rat race. If we can reflect, and this is why you're talking about introspection, now our brain waves is going to be different. So in those moments, now we may have enough distance about ourselves and perspective to see that there are things that don't work that we can change. So we need to answer our question now. Yes, you're right. Self-introspection is what we need to do. So the luck is to meet someone or read a book or come across something that is going to get us to realize this. And then being able to do this as well, because some people may dismiss this for whatever reason. But yes, the solution to all of our problems is self-introspection, because all of our problems start from the inside out. Whatever is happening in the world, we can't change it from where we are. What we can change is how we feel about it, is how we look at it. When we're a child, we are the victims of our environment, 100%, because we depend on our caregivers. So there's nothing that we can do. However, as adults, we can. And the reason why we suffer is because we forgot that we are no longer a child. We have forgotten that we don't need to stare at life and feel disempowered and victim and helpless as we were legitimately when we were a child now. Because now we are an adult and we can use our intelligence, we can use our intuition, we can use our resource as an adult to deal with any of those things and more. And that's why we are suffering, because we don't realize that whenever we're overwhelmed by life, for that moment, we are back into the emotional mind. We are back into the child state where it was left at. So, yeah. Chris Hilton, good evening, Didi. Good evening to you, Chris. How are you doing? Zimmer, in, pizza, awesome. Chuchin, expecting people to think like you feel like you, but even if I'm very empathic, will I not expect that from my point of view? Expecting people. Okay, so it's a post that starts with expecting. So that helps me already more. Let me see if I can see it. I get it. Thank you, Chuchin, for looking for it. The post goes like this. Expecting people to think like you, feel like you, behave like you, or treat you the way you treat them is projection. Putting yourself into their shoes and experiencing this moment from their perspective is expansion. That's the post. So what I mean by that is that we all expect people to be like us because this is our first experience of the world. When we're a child, we experience everything literally from our vantage point. We don't have an ability to have perspective. So everything's about me. And it's normal because our brain is not developed yet. So we expect people to think like us, to feel like us, to believe the same things that we believe, and to treat us the way we would treat them. However, as we grow up, many of us forget to change that perspective. And we often are trapped, many people all their life, into that perspective. But the opposite of that is to practice empathy, which means if we can put ourselves into other people's shoes and realize that I'm not the center of the world, everyone is the center of their world. Now I can experience how they feel. I can experience what they think. I can experience what they believe. I can experience what they expect from me or what they can do or what is logic and common sense to them. And so if I can experience all of those different perspectives other than mine, this is how I am expanding myself. And this is expansion. Does it make sense? So let me reread your last comment. Expecting people to forgive. Yeah. But even if I'm very empathic, will I not expect that from my point of view? So yes, as long as you're looking at it from your point of view, you will expect that. but you can change every now and then. So you have an ego. Your ego is your perspective, is how you experience the world from the position of self, me, I, Chuchin, the human being. So whenever you're back into that perspective, you will experience that. But this is what the work is about. It's about expanding your perspective. Growth and healing is about learning how to sometimes experience the world from self, and sometimes through other people's perspective, and sometimes from the perspective of the observer of the universe. And so we do this through practice, but we want to learn how to be able to, every now and then, step out of our body and observe ourselves from the outside and realize, I'm behaving like that, I'm feeling like that because this happened to me. Do I want to change this or not? And then once we have addressed what we want to change, we can come back then into our shell and then create that upgrade. But we need to have a distance, a perspective in order to even realize that there are things that we want to change. Because until and as long as we stay into the position of the ego is designed to protect itself. So it will not accept any criticism of self. I hope it makes sense. And so in other words, empathy does expand. And it's true that it's not easy as long as we're in the self, position of self. But this is the whole work. It's about learning how to observe ourselves. We will not always be able to do that. As soon as we start to talk with other people, at that moment, bang, we're back into our human shell. But every now and then, at night, back home from meditation, or in the morning before we get started with the day, we can see ourselves and reflect through introspection about the sort of things that we may want to upgrade about ourselves. We may want to look at ourselves from an unbiased perspective. Does it make sense, Chuchin? JJ, good evening, Didi, and everyone else. Good evening to you, JJ. Ahmed Mohammed, I love you. Give me advice for a 20-year-old. Okay, what advice? Don't eat yellow snow. That's an advice for you. What sort of things would you like to talk about? I can give you tons of advice, but I need to know what are the things that are important to you. Do you have any problems? Do you have any troubleshooters shooting? Do you have the regular patterns of behavior that are problematic to you? If you can give me that, I would love to give you some advice. And thank you for the kind words and the little hearts. Chuchin, thank you. You got my smile. Fantastic. Thank you. Chemo Walt Creative. Good evening. Good evening to you. I'm going to come back to my script. And again, I'm waiting for you guys to ask me things whenever you're ready. But in the meantime, if I don't get anything, I will just read and comment on my own post. Maybe that will inspire some of you to ask me some stuff about yourself. Where are we? Today is the 6th of March. So today, there's one that I put yesterday on TikTok that goes like this, that I found very cool. Facts don't care about your feelings, is what the rational mind says. Feelings don't care about your facts, is what the subconscious mind says. And because 95% of your mind is subconscious and emotional, and only 5 tiny penny percent is conscious and cognitive, feelings always win, no matter what the rational mind thinks. So this is going to upset a lot of people who are very cognitive, intellectual, who are always operating from that place as opposed to there. And this is a problem for them. The reason why some people are obsessed with logic and common sense and understanding and controlling everything is because they are scared of losing control. So they need to have some sort of illusion of control. But in reality, we are vastly emotional and feelings creatures before we are thinking creatures. We're not thinking creatures that feel. We are creatures of emotions and feelings that think. It goes in that order. First comes the feelings and emotions. Even our reality is forged by our emotions, by our program. It's going to be distorted by everything that we believe based on what we have experienced emotionally when we were a child. But even in those moments, we're going to have an emotion before anything, and then after the emotion, the brain is going to come up with a narrative to support that emotion. And very often, that makes a lot of people angry because they're losing control. They're like, how could that be? But it is now we are understanding this more and more through neuroscience. It's very simple. We can really see that. And we're starting to realize that our brain is a prediction machine that creates a reality for us. Everything that we experience is absolutely super biased. And so, yes, that was a little reference to that. Let me read you another one that I put out today. Rest can feel threatening when alertness once kept you safe. Because as far as your nervous system is concerned, being relaxed equals being open and vulnerable to potential danger. And so a lot of us find it difficult to relax. That's because we have some unhealed trauma. I think I talked about it last time already, but I'm happy to repeat it because it's quite an important topic. And so essentially, if we grew up in chaos, and there was always some conflict happening, our nervous system get used to that sort of energy. And now it's going to feel silence very weird and unsettling. And that's why if we have not healed our trauma, if we grew up in chaos, we're going to be attracted by chaos. And that's why so many of us end up with some problematic people in relationship, because we need those people to give us the same sort of chaos we grew up with. It's all happening at the subconscious level. We don't choose this deliberately, but it's happening because we feel attracted to something that is familiar. Let me read some comments here. JJ42. Didi, I need your advice. A good friend of mine often gets angry quickly. How can I tell her a better point of view? Sometimes it is a bit exhausting and I can't be always calm. Thanks. Okay. So first we want to realize that when we get angry, it's not a character flaw. There's a lot of reasons why people get angry. And more often than not, it's because it's the only way we know how to deal with that situation then. So you don't want to say, if you say, sometimes it's exhausting, she's annoying me, what's wrong with her? Now you're going to think of her like someone that is not trying hard enough. And this is not going to be helpful to how you feel. And it's not going to be helpful to the situation either, because she doesn't mean that. If she's freaking out, if she's being triggered, if she's exaggerating, being over the top, it's not a choice. It's a dysregulated nervous system. When we had trauma and unhealed wounds, we're going to be highly emotionally unstable. So I, for instance, I used to be like that for a long, long time. Typically, borderline personality disorder is one of those conditions that will give you a lot of that. A lot of anger, a lot of rage. ADHD as well. There's something called ADHD rage. And so it's not that we're choosing. Sometimes we are overwhelmed. Some of us are overwhelmed. We don't know what's happening behind closed door, what happened in the past. And so what I would suggest you is to look at her through the eyes of compassion and patience, if you really care for her, right? Now, it's not this or that. I don't know, because it's complicated enough with one person. But now we're talking about someone else that is not even here. So I can't ask her any question. But just based on what you say, I will address what you can do, right? We're not addressing her because she's not here. How can I tell her a better point of view? What I would suggest you is to kindly tell her, instead of telling her, why are you always so angry? What's wrong with you? Ask her, what happened to you? Why do you get angry? Is there anything, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I can see that you are very, very volatile. Is there anything that I can do to help? Is there anything that you want to tell me? Be compassionate, listen to them as opposed to judging them and trying to change them. Don't try to change them. They know that they don't want to be like that. They know that they hate themselves probably for reacting and overreacting the way they do. I know that I did. I know that all of my clients who suffer from BPD also do. And so it's not something that we choose. But I understand that it's very difficult to realize unless we've been told, because we've been conditioned by society to believe that some people are good, some people are bad. We believe that there's such thing as personality, character, and that some people are just sinful or inferior somehow to others. And it's not true. We are all doing our best based on whatever happened to us. And so whatever we display in terms of behavior is always a reflection of our upbringing and how we have adapted to our upbringing. And so when people get angry, it's because in that moment, they don't have the ability to use that mind to calm themselves down and to use rational to deal with the situation. They're overwhelmed. So they're going to fight, flight response. They're going to fight. Anger is fight in the fight, flight, freeze response. And so see your friend like someone who has some baggage, and instead of trying to change them, talk to them. Tell them, you know what, let's have a chat if you feel like it. I would love to. If not, it's okay. But basically what your friend needs is love and support and understanding, as opposed to judgment. If you try to change her, she's going to think, he's just like, or they, because I don't know, that person is just like the other person. They don't see me as a human being. They look down on me. They're judging me already. And now this is going to push your friend further into her corner. And she will be even more angry to protect herself from everyone. I hope it makes sense. Does it, JJ? It's not about telling her a better point of view. It's about having empathy to connect with her and listening to her, and then find out if and when she's ready to do that, what she could do to change, if she's ready to change. But if it's too much for you, you don't have to suffer that either, right? You are not in charge of other people's happiness. We all want to do our best, but sometimes it can be a lot, right? I have to say, sometimes, yes, it can be absolutely exhausting. And I know this because I have exhausted everyone in my life. And I never wanted this, and they never wanted this either, but it just happens sometimes. So what you want to do is to listen to yourself and realize, what can I do for her? Am I ready for that? Can I give her that patience? Can I give her that compassion, that kindness? Can I give her that extra piece of shoulder for and just be instead of judging and reacting and trying to change? And if you can do that, do this. And if you can't, don't do it. You don't have to. Yeah. We all have a baggage. We all have a journey. And we're all doing our best. Does it help, JJ? Thank you for your heart. Who are you? I have a question. I've been in this problem-solving mode the last couple of years. Might give myself more playtime, dance, move, paint, etc. to lighten up, but I have lost my light-heartedness and silliness in talking with friends and getting to know new people. How do I get back to being more neutral, goofier like I used to be? If you're goofy or silly or light-hearted, it's not something that we choose. This is the byproduct of how you feel. So if you're happy, then if you feel safe, if you're content, satisfied, fulfilled, that will come up naturally. So you don't want to look at the silliness. You want to keep doing some work on yourself. And at some point, when you are in a place of safety and purpose and connection, then you can be all the goofy that you want, and naturally just like that. So you want to focus on that rather than on this rather than that. Check out your level of happiness and safety, basically. Do more of this. And maybe, I don't know, tell me more about yourself, because maybe you have developed some limiting belief about yourself that are making it harder for you to just express yourself. Sometimes we believe that as we get older, we must be more mature. And this is a terrible trap. We don't have to be mature. This is something invented by self-righteous people. You are whatever you want to be. Accept yourself. Maybe learn how to be goofy again, do some silly things, see how it feels. Maybe, you know what, maybe it's just a skill that you have forgotten. That's it. Maybe it's nothing that I said before. It could be anything. But maybe you can just try to do some silly dance, some silly faces, whatever, to make yourself laugh or your partner, and gradually expand on that and see how it feels. And I think if you used to be like that and you are not in a bad place in your life, this shouldn't be such a problem for you to unleash, discover, reveal. It's inside of you. It's who you are anyway. Thank you for your heart. Camille Gutierrez said hi. Hello. Who are you? Also, do you know Ren? Ren, that dude gives me life. I love his music. Yes, I know Ren. Yeah, he does a song about schizophrenia. Very good track with zillions of views on YouTube. He's very talented. Yes, I like his work. I love his music. Artistry might be interesting for you. Yeah, I know, Ren. And I do believe that he should be bigger than that. I believe that he will be much more famous at some point. But just based on the one song that I know of him that has so many views, he may have some stuff to deal with. So maybe everything in its own time. Chemo war creative. So anger is a kind of defense mechanism. Yes, yes. Anger originally, so it can be different things, it depends. But originally, anger is a defense mechanism, indeed. Anger is aggression, right? And aggression is the system that we have used since the dawn of our existence to survive. Aggression, when we're facing danger, or if you want to attack a prey to have some dinner or something like that. And so, yes, aggression, anger. However, because we are complicated beings with a different part of the brain, anger can sometimes also become a secondary emotion. And so what it means is that some emotions are there for a specific purpose, and when it's fulfilling those purpose, it's healthy way to use them. So healthy anger, for instance, is if someone is crossing my boundaries and I want to communicate with them, but they're crossing my boundaries. I'm doing this, and now they get the message, right? That's healthy. What is not healthy is if we are bottling something and suddenly we can't hold it anymore, and now we're unleashing, and it's over the top. And that's because anger was a secondary emotion in that instance. So what it means is that the first emotion that we had has been repressed. And so now, because we can't feel that emotion, anger is coming to the rescue. So the example is very typical. Men in a toxic masculinity patriarchal system, we've been told that we can't be vulnerable. Boys don't cry. We can't be sad. We can't seek help. And so if, for instance, I grew up with that sort of brainwashing, I will repress my sadness and my vulnerability. And now, if I'm frustrated, I will repress everything. I'm teaching to control my emotions. I'm repressing everything. So now my life is not so great. Someone is nagging me. I've got a lot of thoughts that are negative. It's accumulating. But I'm holding back because I need to be strong. I need to show everyone that I'm in control, that I'm brave, that I'm successful, that I'm a man. But at some point, it's too much. And so now the anger is going to take over and is going to be releasing all those emotions that we have repressed. And so men, for instance, since they can't be sad, very often when men are depressed, they're angry. They can't cry. And so now they're going to express their emotions through anger. And it's a very interesting thing to highlight because we know some people in our lives that are always angry. But what we don't realize is that they may be suffering from depression. And the other way goes around, the other round works as well. Women, typically, in a patriarchal system, are being told that they can't be angry. It's unacceptable for a lady to be angry. However, they can be sad, they can cry. And so a lot of women, instead of getting angry, they will cry. This will be their secondary emotion to anger. Those are very simple and common examples, but you can think about all the emotions, and this is how they all work. You have a primary purpose of them that is healthy. But then when it's used as a secondary emotion, it is no longer healthy. Hope it makes sense. Genji Benji, hello Didi, how are you? I'm very well indeed. How about you, Genji? Kimoral creative, a short-time solution, so to speak. Yes, better to be calm, even though it's hard sometimes. It's not better to be calm. Sometimes it's better to let out of the anger as long as it's controlled. Not controlled, but as long as it's not disruptive. You don't want to strangle your boss just because you're not happy with something they said to you. But sometimes what you want to do is to understand how your body works and have a good relationship with your feelings and emotions. So if you are angry, it's good to understand that you can find ways to unleash that anger. And then eventually, once you let it out, then you can change triggers and change the way that you react to things emotionally as you work on yourself. But if you don't unleash the anger, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect your organs, your health, your immune system. It affects us physiologically. Anger is highly, highly connected to a lot of chronic illnesses as we get older if it's not expressed. And so now here's the thing. If you let go of the anger, the person that is receiving the anger will get that stress and that illness. So it's not good for them either. But if you can find a way to let go of the anger without hurting anyone, so maybe if you're having an argument with your spouse, go in a different room, close the door, and shout or something like that. If you have a punching bag in the garage, hit it, and then relax and reconnect. But so it's not about just this or that. It's about understanding our emotions. We don't want to repress anything ever. We want to understand. And then we want to have a better relationship with our thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything with ourselves. Who are you? I believe in Ren too. He doesn't sign any contract with any producers or anyone. He has built his empire completely by himself and refuses to change or compromise his art for publicity or fame. Okay. Who are you? I respect him a lot for that. Okay, yes, that sounds good. Who are you? If he can do that, good on him. But I believe that at some point he may actually. I think very often people are waiting for the right deal. Who are you? Check out if you like the tale of Jenny and Screech, Violet's tale and Vincent's tale. The bedroom in that order specifically, it's crazy. I know his work already, so at some point I'm sure that I will go and discover that. But when it comes to music, I listen to tons of stuff. I really, really do. So whatever comes at the right time depends on many factors. But I appreciate your recommendation. And if I come across his stuff and I'm into that mood to explore his work in more depth, I will think about you. Kimowal, actually, opening up when talking, be honest, etc. It helps both for healing, but also as a door for others to open up also. Yes. So this is it. When we understand our body, as in when we have emotional intelligence, now we are realizing that emotions are a way to communicate with others. So I was telling you how anger, for instance, when it's healthy, is there to say to people, no, that's enough. But also sadness, tears. Why do we cry? We cry in a tribe to send the signal that we need some help. So it's very important to do this, even from that level. Whatever that we feel is originally signals that are non-verbal to communicate things. And so we have lost that because we live in a repressed society that is structured on religious dogmas, based on shame, guilt, sins. If you cry, you're a weakling, you're not strong enough. And so because of that, people suffer. And we want to let go of that and reconnect with who we are originally, which is creatures of emotions, and realize that it's beautiful and it's okay. And with the right people, we can really thrive by just expressing how we feel. People are emotionally intelligent. You can see it in the way they express themselves emotionally. They don't try to look good, to be perfect, to always look in control. They're just being themselves. As opposed to pretending to be someone else because they believe that who they are is not enough. JJ, thank you, Didi. You helped me a lot. Fantastic, thank you. My childhood wasn't ideal and hers either. Sometimes I thought I lost my anger because my parents were often angry with life and sometimes with me. I learned. Okay. Forrest Burger. Hello. Affirmation for the day. We are all worthy of love, compassion, inner and outer peace and happiness. Live for the moment, and hope for the future, and learn from the past. Thank you, Forrest. JJ, I didn't make everything wrong. I hold my grudge always by myself. My anger burst very little. Okay, good on you. I know you hold your grudge. So no, this is not good. Don't hold grudge. address the reason why you have grudge, and then disarm that grudge. Do you want to talk about this? Ibanez said hi. Hello. Genji, I'm alright. Currently trying to be in my mental zoo. Fantastic. Where the storm passes and keeping my cat company. Fantastic. Thank you for remembering and applying our last conversation, Genji. Kimowal Creative. I see what you say about anger and agree, of course, but I'm so used to keep it. So what I would do instead was shouting or shaking at table without destroying, of course. Okay, so this is it. But this is something that you do in the moment. However, you still want to address the triggers of your anger. Your anger is triggered by something. There's a belief that gets you to erupt in anger every single time that you are facing a cue that is going to push that button. And so what I'm trying to say is that if you suffer from anger, you want to express your anger, but you don't want to keep doing this all the time. You want to do it in the moment because it's an energy that needs to go out. However, you want to also address and disarm the trigger, because otherwise you keep on hurting yourself every single time, going through those states and having to find system to let go of the anger, shake the table or whatever that you do. Who are you? Okay, I thought you meant you only knew one song. It's okay, no pressure. No, I'm familiar with only one song. I've come across other things, but I don't have time always to discover everyone's work. To be honest with you, it's like books. With music, I've got so many bands, so many albums, so many things that I want to listen to, but my time is very scarce for those sort of things. I do want and I do those things because I enjoy them, but I'm so obsessed with my work that I don't get much time to. I generally listen to audiobooks and music either when I go to the gym or when I walk in the park, and that's it. The rest of the time I'm always working somehow, and so there's a limitation of the things that I can listen to. I have come across a few things of Ren, but I'm mostly familiar with that one song. But I'm sure that at some point I will discover his whole catalog when the stars are aligned. Tree. Is it sure we Chinese have a high incidence of narcissistic personality disorder, aka dismissive avoidant personality? I don't know. I never thought about it. I don't think so. Just my intuition is telling me that this happens everywhere. Maybe some cultures are going to make it happen more, but China is a big place. There's a lot of people. Let me try to Google it. Chinese people more prone to NPD. So, based on the AI of Google, evidence does not support that Chinese people are more prone to narcissistic personality disorder. It's like everyone is. Some I've met a lot of Chinese people who are horrible, like genuine errors, insecure, disgusting old people, and some are amazing. And I experienced it with white people, with black people, with brown people, with any people. So maybe there's some small village where people are all kind, the culture is different, and there's less pressure. But so they could be some culture influence, right? If you live in a place where everyone is happy, chilling, watching the sunset, playing guitar, chilling on the beach, then there will be probably less need for that, because NPD is born from trauma. And so when we live in a society that is harsh, that is competitive, that is overwhelming, that has a lot of rules and pressure, then that is going to make parenting harder and create more instances of trauma in children for them to develop into NPD people. So that's how I see it. So maybe big cities, people who are living in places where people are unhappy, that would create that. But I don't. But China, because China is a big place. If you told me maybe how about that population of 400 people on that island, that little village, maybe there's less there if they're all happy. But for everyone else, I believe that it's pretty much the same in any big communities which are westernized. That I would like to highlight. So that was for Tree. Who are you? The seriousness is because people value me and my knowledge, and I'm everyone's mum and unofficial therapist. So the more people open up to me, the more deep, sometimes dark stuff gets, and then play get lost. And I find it difficult to switch from play to problem solving and back. Let me try to understand this. So we're talking about Ren, and now we're talking about people value me and my knowledge. Okay, that's good. The more people open up to me, the deeper it goes, dark stuff. Okay, I get it. And I find it difficult to switch from play to problem solving and back. Okay. Can you give me an example, please? So you're saying that a lot of people seek your help because they trust your advice, and because of that, you are exposed to a lot of very hard, harsh stuff, dark stuff, and you find it difficult to switch. What I'd say is that if you sometimes, some of us, we see ourselves as healer. We see ourselves like, I'm the person who's going to fix everyone. And that is, again, because of our upbringing. Maybe we had to do that to some people in our lives when we were younger. And so because of that, we carry doing this. And sometimes we don't like it. We are the carer. And so you say to yourself, sometimes it's difficult to switch. And so what you can do is to change that, is to realize that you don't have to do this. You can if you want. When you are ready, when you're in a good state, when you've slept enough, you're happy, you have some time, let's talk about this. But you don't have to do it all the time. There are the times where you can just be yourself and enjoy life without thinking about everyone else's problems. Is that what you meant? Does that make sense? Who are you? Genji, I'm trying whether I'm doing it well is up for debate, but all I can do is to try. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I'm pretty much sure that whatever I will add to that is that you are doing your best and your best is good enough. I've got a little bit of pain in my arm. I had a visit to the hospital today and they did some stuff on me and maybe some product is left into my body. It's weird. Let's see. And Nox14, hello, don't forget to drink some water. Thank you. You changed your name. I remember one person who followed me regularly reminding me to stay hydrated, and that's a great advice. Here's my hot chocolate. Chemo Wild Creative. Then you should check out my Suno. It's something for everyone there. I create the text and music. Suno, song. Is it what you meant? Is it misspelled? I create the text and music based on momentary feelings as I vent. Okay. Again, if it's something that you've done, whenever I have a chance, if you send me the link somewhere, I check it out. Okay. Who are you? Now I'm back to my previous topic of losing my goofiness, silliness in relationship. Okay, I get it. Okay, so you are many self. There are many different versions of you inside of you. There's a part of you that is serious. There's a part of you that likes to help and listen to people and take care of them and wanting to help them. And there's a part of you that is goofy. So it's about realizing that all those parts exist within you, and it's for you to realize when you're going to unleash which part of you to address this moment. Does it make sense? It's not that there's you, I can't do this anymore. The version of you that is playful and childish is always inside of you. It's just waiting for the right moment to come out, because there's another part of you, it's the drill sergeant, that believes that the serious one is more required. And maybe that's because it believes that you're only accepted in this life, in this community, when you're the serious ones. People see you like that, they look up to you. So it's important for you to always be that person for them. But if you're not happy, you need to allow for the child in you to come out and play also, whenever it wants to come out. There's a time and a place for everything. But first, the realization that you are not one mind, but many minds, is where it starts. Does it help, Genji? No, who are you? I mean, and now Genji. Talking about music reminded me that I tried your advice to listen to music and dance to help feel better. I felt awfully goofy, there you go, and was judged by my cat, but I do think it actually helped. Fantastic. I don't think your cat judged. Your cat was wondering, what is that new thing? But cats don't judge. They reflect our own repressed shame. I think cats don't give an F. They're just there. As long as they have their needs met, that's all that really matters to them. But I'm glad that you did this. Keep doing this. Keep singing and dancing and being goofy. See, so who are you? You see, Genji managed to dance and be silly and goofy, and it went well for them. And so, so it's a good topic. Guys, try to do something after the live. If you can do this, put some music and be silly in front of a mirror, make yourself laugh and see what happens. Who are you? I am okay with taking care of people that matter to me, but I also want to be able to laugh, go out, party, do fun stuff with them too. Okay, so in that case, you tell them. If you are that person, it's because you believe they can only love me if I am that person. But if you can tell them, you know what, let's stop talking about this. For now, it's party time. Let's have some champagne or whatever and go out in town and open the roof like dogs with the head outside. Whatever that you do, just do it. You can instigate it, right? The reason why you are suffering from that is because you all believe that this is the only normality that you can have together because it's a habit. Maybe you've done this for a long time. So they're expecting this of you, and you're expecting yourself to give them that. But you can change the rules at any time. You can say, okay, you know what? Let's let our hair down. Let's go crazy. Let's be silly. And let's just do it. And if you tell them, they may think, oh, you know what? It's a great idea. Let's do this. And you may onto something very good for the whole of you. Who are you? Or more often, Genji, I'm surprised you're not drinking tea today. I drink a lot of things. So I drink coffee, tea, herbal teas, chocolate, water, kombucha. And, I don't drink just one thing, but I'm glad that you noticed that I drink a lot of tea. I go through phases. So it's true that when I say I drink tea, it's easy because there's a lot of teas that I drink. So it can be all sorts of different teas. So it's easier just to say tea. But maybe in 10 times that I said tea, it was 10 different types of teas. And so, yeah. I like hot drinks. Let's put it like that. Maybe it's a British thing. When you live in this country for long enough, you realize that drinking hot drinks is not a bad thing because of the weather we have here more often than not. ILX Wish. What would you say to someone who has caught up with growing up in my early 20s because I was a complete dork before and now feels burnt out because, no, but is clever and has potential? Let me try to understand. Let me read this again. What would you say to someone who has caught up with growing up? I don't understand that bit. What does that mean? Someone that has caught up with growing up in my early 20s because I was a complete dork before and now feels burnt out but is clever and has potential. I don't understand. Who is that person? Is it you or someone that you know? And so they were a complete dork and now they're no longer a complete dork and instead they are burnt out. But at the same time, we realize that they are clever and has potential. We are three different elements. I'm not sure how they work together. Could you clarify this for me, please? ALX Wish. I would love to have a conversation with you, but I don't get it. CryptoPunks. I became a monster to conquer this world, but a part of me misses the child that was once me. You never have to be a monster to conquer the world. When you become a monster to conquer the world, you don't conquer the world. You're just conquering your own fear with some more fear. If you are a monster, you are basically believing that the world is divided in two categories of people: the predators and the prey. The monsters, predators, are the prey. And you're thinking, I cannot be a prey. I suffered enough, so I'm going to choose to be a monster. But you have not vanquished anything at all. You have become the monster. If you want to conquer the world, that'd be vanquishing your own fears, which means surrendering, realizing that fear is an illusion. There's nothing to fear, but the fear of the fear itself. And so, if you say, so I'm just talking based on what you said. I don't really even understand what you mean by that, but I'm commenting on that, letting you know about what comes in my mind when I read this. And you say, I miss the child that was once in me. It's still there, as I was talking about with, I think it was with Who Are You? The child in you is still inside of you. Let it go and stop believing that you need to fight some bad people, some demons. It's not true. If you still believe that, it means that you're still traumatized. And this is your work. You need to realize that as long as you believe that, you're going to create a state of fear and anxiety and tension because you have to protect yourself against bad things, bad people. Instead of accepting that they are good and bad, but we don't need to believe in those things. We can go along with life and do our best with whatever we have as we go through those things, one thing at a time. One of the reasons we suffer is because we avoid certain feelings, we repress certain emotions. So we're trying to vanquish demons. I'm repressing my vulnerability through the secondary emotion of anger and aggression. Remember, I talked about it like 10 minutes ago. Instead, we need to realize that sometimes pain is inevitable, but it's okay because it's only a moment. So I need to welcome the pain, knowing that I can't do nothing about it in this moment, but the next moment is going to be gone. So now I'm going to be able to do something else then. But if I want to avoid pain, no pain, never have pain, then now I'm going to create problems. And it is in this state that we are when we say things like, I have to become a monster. Unless I missed something. If I'm wrong, do correct me. I don't know everything. I'm just extrapolating based on few words, right? CryptoPunks, I game the world, but at cost. Gained. Keep more creative. Oh, actually, cats will registrate your mood very good. Sometimes they will sit with you, not always to be cuddled, but to show affection. Oh, I believe that. I believe that all pets have a strong emotional intelligence, and if people treat them well, there will be some sort of emotional connection. Absolutely. We had dogs. I used to have a cat a long, long time ago. But for the last 17 years with my husband, we had 3 dogs. So I totally get this. I love animals. Genji, I also like hot drinks. Tea has always been a very big part of my life, but I love coffee as well. Okay, good. Genji, tea is very healthy for you, as you know, of course. Everything is healthy if we can understand that the one most important element of health when it comes to food and drinks is the dose, the quantity. Nothing is inherently better than other thing. It's about having a balanced diet with a lot of different things, and some food are richer in nutrients than others, but we still need all the other ones as well. And those who may not have a lot of nutrients, they may have more fibers. So there's always something to get out of everything. It's about understanding that health is precisely a little bit of everything in the right dose. And I'm saying this because I suffered from that. Because of my ADHD, it was always all or nothing. So I've been through sort of different phase where I would eat just that and nothing else, and then I will always have problems because nothing was ever meant to be consumed to that level. Like garlic, for instance. When I first realized that garlic was healthy, I remember I used to eat tons of raw garlic. I stank of garlic all the time, but I didn't care because I wanted to survive, I wanted to be healthy. and that was not a good idea. And now I still have garlic, but every day a little bit. ALX wish. Yeah, yes, me. Basically autistic and grew up and did the things that should have been doing when growing up, like having fun. Now I'm burnt out and don't have any drive anymore. Okay, so in that case, you can change, you can let go of the things that are burning out. Why are you burnt out? What are you doing that is causing you to burn out? Maybe your environment, maybe the expectations of some people in your life. If you are on the autism spectrum, you know that you are different to the norm from a neurotypical society. So you need to make sure that you are in an environment that accepts you, understands you, and allows you to be yourself without burning out. Very often, if we burn out, it's because we believe that we must do all of those things no matter what. So if you are hyperfixated on something, that will cause burnout. My watch just rang and tell me that it's time for me to put my TikTok post out. So just bear with me. I'm going to do it straight away, and then I'm going to come back to you straight away. So where am I? If you have been physically dizzy. Very good post. We have some good news. Yep. Just bear with me, please. Just 1 second. I want to make sure that it's fully loaded. Okay. it's out. So back to what I was saying, yes, if you are autistic and you are burnt out, you want to find out why, because it's not normal to be burnt out. If you are burnt out, it's normal that you can't have any drive, that you can't be joyful. You are burnt out. Your whole system is depleted of energy. The burnout is precisely there to protect you from totally crashing out. So it's shutting you down. And so, yes, do you want to talk about this? The reasons as to why you are burnt out? Parisa, hi Didi, GTSY. Good to see you. I just guessed it. Gosh, my brain is becoming so modern. Thank you, Parisa. Same here. NOX14. That's a great skills of arguing here. You are doing a very great job. A great job at arguing. Okay, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but thank you for your thanks. Candace, hi, so happy to have found you. Thank you so much, Candace. Mabez, I think I have genital wart, much wartage on my genitals and general genital area and around way and around blah 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 blah. Mabez, this is a serious page. I love humor. I laugh a lot. I love laughing. However, there's a space and a time for everything. Try to be kind, please. I'm talking about mental health and therapy here. So please, if you want to talk about something related to that, I would love to do this with you. If not, please refrain yourself. Otherwise, we're not going to be friends very long, I'm afraid. Genji, I completely understand what you are talking about. I become obsessed with certain foods until I never want to see it again. I know we've talked about nutrition many times before, yes, but there are many aspects to nutrition. And so this is not just me. I'm quite extreme. I'm one of those people who, maybe like you, can be extreme when we understand that something is healthy. So suddenly we get to have a lot of it and nothing else. But I can see that at a general level, a lot of people do that. Maybe not as bad, but a lot of people believe that suddenly there's a goji berry from Brazil and everyone must have it, or something. There's always a list of the healthiest food, and people now are going to obsess with that. But in reality, we don't want to demonize a food nor glorify one because they are slightly better properties. We want to understand that even though it's true that some food are richer in some nutrients, it is the balance of everything that matters. And talking about gut health, as we did at some point at the start of that live stream, for our gut to be healthy, we need to have a variety of a lot of different foods. The key word here is variety. Your gut is a microbiome, and so the microbiome is like a community. It's like a country. There's a lot of different people. It's a tribe. It's a village. So we need all sort of different skills, different input to make it a society. Parisa, why do I always get nervous when I meet new people? Mentally I'm fine, but my body starts shaking because your body remembers things that your head doesn't. Our body has a memory. And so if you have been hurt, traumatized, overwhelmed by people in the past, your body remembers that. And now, even though you know that you're safe, logically, there's nothing to fear. But your body still has not healed, has not found any closure from your original trauma. So your body is going to react as if it was still in danger. It wants to protect you. It's doing this to tell you, oh, careful, people, remember last time, it didn't go well. We often suffer because of the discrepancy between those two minds. This is the head, cognitive, that's your brain, logic, rational, analytical. And you have your heart, your body, your nervous system, which is your whole body, your whole self. And this is an emotional subconscious mind. And very often we think that everything is happening here, but we are mainly run by our emotional subconscious mind. And so this is why very often people know, I know that I should be doing this. I know that this is right for me, this is wrong for me. And yet they can't help doing the opposite. Instead of doing what we should, we do the opposite. Instead of not doing what we want to stop, we keep doing it. Why? Because there's a difference between what we know, what we think, and what we believe, what we feel, what we allow in our lives because of the program we have created in childhood. And so if you get nervous, it's because you have not given closure to some situations in your past related to people. As long as you haven't found closure, the old system will still be in place to protect you. Prosa, it confuses people. Kimorwa Creative. Yes, it is important to have a variety of in-food types. Up here, for instance, we need fish for omega-3 since we lack sun most of the year. We need everything, yes. Yep, we need so many things. And also there's the conversation that a lot of the food that we have has been so genetically modified that you may not find the nutrients that you would normally find in there. But I like to argue that if you have a whole food as opposed to junk, and you are mindful of having a lot of plant-based stuff and a lot of fiber, and you are taking your gut microbiome in consideration, so probiotic, prebiotic, fasting, sort of things, then you should be okay. Corn sliced bread. Who wrote about what? Jesus, people are unhinged. People are people. I think some people just want to, they don't realize that what this page is about, they just want to crack a joke. Now, there are some people who can be malicious and try to provoke people. There are some narcissists online, absolutely. But we haven't had any yet today, I believe. Chemo Wall Creative at MABE. Sure, for that is prescription topical creams to boost immunity or clinical procedure like cryotherapy, laser treatment, or surgical excision. So this is between you. Corn sliced bread. Love your content generally. Worth spending the time over. Keep it up. All right, thank you. I'm glad you appreciate. Forest Burger. Didi, have you noticed it to be easier to help others before helping oneself? Working on oneself is the hardest work anyone can do. Building self-confidence and trust in ourselves. Absolutely, I agree with you. Yeah. Most of us, we find it easier to help others than selves. And as a matter of fact, many of my colleagues, a lot of therapists are there, counselors, coaches of any sort, anyone who is in the mental health profession, the vast majority of us were in here because of our own problems. And many of us, sadly, we don't address our own baggage. I see it everywhere all the time with my colleagues. I think they believe that if they address others, that will be sufficient to help them, and it doesn't. And so we must really prioritize ourselves because we can only give what we own. And so we can always help people to some level. But if we can heal ourselves, now we can help more. And in my case, it was always the other way around. I always helped myself first. And I became professional afterward. But I believe that I am one of the exceptions. I can see it. So many of my friends and colleagues, sadly, are still struggling to face their own baggage. Corn slice bread. I love how you embrace yourself. Freedom is nothing but to be gentle with yourself despite its past. Thank you, corn slice bread. Genji. Yes, my mother always tried to tell me about all the food I need to eat. It's too much. I have no idea how she can make multiple dishes for a single meal, every single meal. So you don't have to have all the food. You just have to have an awareness that for your gut health, I think you need to have 30 different plant-based food per week. Let me have a look. But that includes spices and herbs. And so how many plant food per week for gut health? 30. So you want to have about 30 different fruit and veg and spices and herbs throughout the whole week, and that will create your microbiome diversity. But salt is one of them. Pepper is one of them. If you use turmeric, cumin, paprika, whatever herbs, chives, basil, just that makes a difference. If you have a bag of mixed nuts, that's already 4 different types of nuts, just like that. So that's 4 added to that. If you have a tea, that's 1. Tea has got some antioxidants and all sort of stuff as well. And so it's about realizing that having enough of all those things will create a rich diversity in your gut. And 30 a week is not too much. If you don't cook and you live on beans on toast every day, that can be a problem. But for most of us, it's not that difficult to incorporate that amount of diversity in our diet. Shuqin. So when one is at a threshold of accomplishing something new and through, cannot, they get distracted and then angry. What to say to diffuse it? With toddlers, compliment works. What with adults? Okay, let me try to understand again. So when someone is at the threshold of accomplishing something, but they cannot, they get distracted and they get angry. It's for them to deal with. It's not. It's. I don't want to sound harsh, but I don't think it's. If you want to reassure them, tell them, you know what, you're doing well. One baby step at a time, one day at a time. Keep going, and things are getting better. That's it. There's a lot of reasons as to why we get angry, and it's for them to work on this, right? It's difficult enough to understand ourselves. For you to understand others, you need to have studied the human mind like I've done by working the way I've done every day. So it's a lot of things to address. My advice is just, you know what, be kind, be patient, accept them as they are, and tell them, you know what, you're right. That'd be how I would address things. Let me try to understand. So people are about to accomplish something and then they're frustrated and they get angry. What to say to diffuse it? I don't think you have to diffuse it. Let them experience that moment. Why do you want to diffuse that? I don't understand. Would you mind clarifying this for me, please? Genji, how do you know or consider that you are overlooking your own baggage? You don't always. You know when you work on yourself. When you work on yourself, then you realize, gosh, I didn't realize I had all of those things, because whatever that we have experienced is our normality. No matter how much baggage, no matter how much hurt, no matter how weird and unhinged our life was, it is our normal. So very often we don't realize it until we work on it. For instance, I often forget about my past because I've been in a happy bubble for a long time. But every now and then I remember, and I'm like, gosh, I have a shock and it makes me sad, because there's the human part of me that's thinking, oh, it's so unfair. But then I'm realizing, okay, it's normal that I feel that, but I don't need to stay stuck into that place of sadness. I can realize that it was part of my life and I've learned about it and it's okay. But when I'm in this moment, I'm like, gosh, I was such a different person. Everything about my life was so different. We don't realize this unless we look back on it if we have worked on ourselves, I think. And that's why a lot of people who haven't been through some major traumatic event, when they watch movies or read books or hear people's stories, they're like, oh gosh, this is horrible, how could that happen? But if we've been there and we can remember that, for us, it was normal. And this is the saddest part. The realization that it was never normal is heartbreaking when we realize. Me, many of my friends, most of my clients, when we realize this, it's always something, it's bittersweet. There's a moment where we're really happy that we have moved on, but there will be some moment where we reflect back and thinking, gosh, it was so unfair all those years, all those situations I've been in, I thought it was me, all that shame that I've carried all my life, and it was never because of me. Ashton Creative. From what I have heard through scripture, the Christian depiction of God has sown revenge on the whole culture based on what that culture has done in the past. I think that people have used religion as a tool to manipulate and control others. So it's not necessarily just Christians. It's true that Christians have created a lot of evil, but I think many religions have been used. It's never the religion, it's the people who are using religions in a way to manipulate and control others. This is, I was talking about it earlier on today. This is what we call religious narcissism. People are using some old books to plague people with fear and shame and manipulate them emotionally and control them. If you don't follow what the book says, you're going to end up in hell. So what is the book saying? Let's destroy the enemy. Let's take over their territories. Let's teach those barbaric how to pray to our God. And so that has always been like that all throughout the human civilization, sadly, and it's still happening today. And again, I don't need to say much. I'm sure that you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm not well versed specifically into each religion. I have no interest in that. I understand religion as a whole. I have my relationship with different religions in the past. I am spiritual now, but I don't have a problem with religion per se. I have a problem with religious narcissists. And this happens with all religions. Kimowar Creative at Ashton, some emojis that I think agree with that person. Parisa, thank you for your heart. What new belief would allow me to feel safe, calm, and confident when I meet new people? You need to believe that you are safe. So in order to believe that, you need to find out what makes you feel not safe. Why is your nervous system dysregulated when you are outside with people? Why you are feeling shy or low self-esteem or lack of confidence? Why? If you can find out why, then we have the belief. I believe that because this happened to me. And because when I was a child, I didn't have any other system, I believe that it was because of me. I believe that I had no... Your shyness or your inability to connect with people, your social anxiety is born from a need to protect yourself from people. So as a child, how can you protect yourself? By shutting down, by looking on your feet, by not talking to them, by not making any noise, by being invisible. And so you need to find out what it is, what happened to you, for you to have that system in you. Once you find out, then you know what belief it is. And then you can replace that belief, right? Does it make sense, Parisa? We can talk about this if you want. Ashton, hi, Kim. Kim, so I'm going to call you Kim instead of Kim or Wall. It's shorter. Kim at Parisa, the belief of yourself, I struggle with the same, but once you challenge yourself out of your comfort zone, you will gradually get better at it. Kay Stevens, hi Didi. Hello Kay. Fudu, yes, it can be a shock, even painful to return to previous versions. Yes, yeah. But it happens to me even after all those years. Sometimes I was thinking about it the other day. I'm having a lot of problems with my health, and it's okay. It's all stable, but I'm doing a lot of tests with my heart, with my lungs, and this and that. And I'm realizing that this is all to do with my emotional trauma. And there's a part of me that I think, having to do all that because of all those things. And I thought that I have dealt with my emotional problems. Now I have physical problems to deal with as well, related to the same root cause. And so that, for a moment, I was really, really annoyed. And then I accepted it, and now I'm back on track into healing mode, because there's always something to heal. But I was also thinking about my ADHD and my inability to focus and learn things, and not be distracted and not be angry when I can't focus. And I suffered so much from that my whole life. When I was a kid, when I was at school, when I was trying to learn anything at all, I always tried, and I could never, and that get me into a state of rage for such a long time, in so many instances. And all along, it was never because I was stupid. It was because my brain is different. Now, if I was going to learn the same things, I would know how to do it. It would take me more time, and I would need to organize myself, but I would be able to do this in some capacity. But because I didn't know that, I've been through so much self-hatred all those years. And so, yes, sometimes realizing this can be a bit, you can feel it now. I'm a bit tense. But there's still a lot of things for us to learn from and take advantage from the past, to embrace, to enjoy in the future and the present moment. Fudu, religions need regulation. It's not religions that need regulation. People need to understand the way the mind functions. That's it. The reason the world suffers is because some of us don't have empathy. That's it. People who are narcissists, people who are psychopaths, people who are sociopaths, people with no empathy, because they have no empathy, they don't care about others, and so they can do anything to them. And that's why they are ruling and running the world. People at the top, they're all psychos, they're all narcissists. That's why they're there. You can't be there if you're not a narcissist or a psychopath. because you need to step on others to make that fortune, to control, to have power. If someone has empathy, they would never hurt others. They would never exploit others. They would never treat everyone else like cattle. They do that because they don't care. And so, I said it not long ago, the root of all evil is the ability to dehumanize. And the ability to dehumanize is born from a lack of empathy. That's it. If you look at the state of the world, why do people fight? Because they've been able to dehumanize the other side of the frontier. They are different, they're evil, they must be destroyed. We're the chosen ones, they're animals, that sort of things. And this is evil. And so it's not religion, it's some people who are narcissistic, who don't have empathy, who are going to use they're going to use religion, we're going to use the embedded fear and shame and guilt that we have been brainwashed to believe to manipulate people. Religion can be beautiful. There are many instances, I have many friends from all sorts of different religions who are beautiful people, who are doing amazingly well with their religion. They're teaching love, forgiveness, compassion, togetherness, acceptance, tolerance, open-mindedness, community, helping, and that's beautiful. It's amazing, nothing wrong about it. But some people are using religion to create division. We are better, they are bad. You can only be good if you tick off the boxes on my list. And everything else, hell. And so this is manipulation. I hope it makes sense. Genji, yes, I experienced that feeling when we first started talking. Realizing that we acted the way we did because of the past pain can be really helpful to understand ourselves, but I always felt shame from it. Thank you for your heart. Okay, you don't have to feel shame anymore. So it's a long journey to let go of the shame because we are so conditioned to nurture this inside of us. But we can talk about this if you want, but you have to tell me what sort of shame you suffered the most from. Parisa at Kim. That makes sense. I think stepping out of my comfort zone is the hardest part, but also the part that helps the most. Okay, so in regards to that, I talked about it with someone else today, and comfort zone is not all bad. There's a time for everything. So we don't want to demonize comfort zone. I love my comfort. Every now and then I'm lying in bed, chilling. Oh, amazing. But if I spend my life in bed, that would not be so good. And so we want to realize that we want to sometime enjoy our comfort and sometime come out of it so that we can be exposed to new stimulus so that we can grow. Growth needs both comfort and discomfort. I was talking about it today. I did a live on TikTok, very exceptionally because I had some time. And basically I was seeing how someone said to me, you can only grow when you're out of your comfort zone. And I'm like, no, this is what people get it wrong. Coming out of the comfort zone is important, but it's not the sole reason we grow. It's one of the two elements. We need both comfort and discomfort to grow. An example that I can give is if you go to the gym and you get to do some lifting weight, I'm going to lift heavy weight, and now my muscles are going to be subjected to some pressure, to stress. They're going to be torn. So I'm out of my comfort zone. When do we rebuild muscles? When we're resting the following day, not at the gym. It's when you're eating, when you're sleeping, when you are chilling. Now your body is thinking, something happened to me. It may happen again. I need to adapt to that. So now I'm going to grow my muscles the day after, 1 or 2 or 3 days after, depending on what you've done. And so even when it comes to growth, comfort and discomfort, they work together. Just discomfort zone. We don't want to glorify just always being on the battlefield, putting ourselves under hardship and pressure. I don't believe in that. It needs both. And it's the same with everything else. If you want to learn something new, something intellectual, you're going to learn something, you're going to be in a comfort zone facing all sorts of different information. When do you get this information to stick in your brain? When you sleep, when you rest. When you sleep, your brain is going to process this information, it's going to get rid of what it doesn't need and retain what is needed the following day. And this is for everything. It's the yin and the yang. If you want to grow, you need to come out of your comfort zone in order to have some stimulus that challenges you. But then as you go back into your comfort zone now, your whole system, your brain, your body will adapt to it as you are chilling. So I think this is a very important thing to highlight. No one talks about it enough. I may do a long video next week about it, I think. I don't know. Does it make sense, Parisa? Genji, also, thank you for looking up the food I should be eating. I am eating healthier than I used to, but I'm not eating 30 different fruits and vegetables. Okay, so think about it. Per week, right? Not per day. Otherwise, there'll be a big shopping list and you will have to eat tons of stuff or tiny bit of it. It's over a whole week. Whatever we do, not only it's about the dose, but also it takes time for our body to adapt to anything. We don't realize this because, again, we have a system of resistance to protect us. So whatever is going to be different is going to be resisted until we do it for long enough so that our body and our mind realizes, it is a new normal. Let's accept this as a new normal and relax to it. The simplest example that I can give is stretching. So I used to lift heavy all my life, but I never did much stretch. I enjoyed doing yoga every now and then, but I was not very consistent at it. And then, I don't know, a year ago, I decided to stretch a lot after my training. And I did some silly stretch. I can't do it really, but what sort of things, putting my arms, because my chest was too tight, and my legs and this and that. But what I'm trying to say is that when I did this one, trying to put this, for 6 months, I'm not exaggerating, for 6 months, super stiff, nothing happened. But I kept doing it because I understand how the body works. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I went from super stiff to it was not gradual. There was a resistance, but it's here. The body is used to something, so it's not going to allow me to do this. But if I do it for long enough, eventually it will get the message that I want this. Let it go. And so eventually it will allow it to happen. And so that, for me, was a perfect example. I did that stretch for 6 months. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it was not 6 months. Maybe it was 4 months. I don't know. But for many months, nothing happened. It was stiff, like, I don't know, a piece of wood. And suddenly, over one session, I realized it turned into rubber. And this is the resistance I'm talking about. We have systems into place physically and mentally that are there to protect our habits. And so if you want to dismantle, to upgrade, not dismantle, to upgrade a habit, it's got to be through process of repetition. And this is what neuroplasticity is about. Whatever we repeat, we reinforce. And that's why we want to continue doing what we want to do, whatever that it is, at any level of what we want to achieve. Just continue, and eventually things get better. But very often we get defeated because we don't get the result that we want straight away. Because we have something called learned, gosh, I'm forgetting my word today. Learned helplessness. I can't believe I forget this. We have learned helplessness. So we believe that we are not enough, and there's a part of us that is seeking for proof that we're not going to succeed. And so if I don't get to what I want straight away, my mind is going to come up with, I told you so. Stop it, you're wasting your time. That's why a lot of us, we don't heal, we don't get better, because before we can even get to see the result, that will only happen over a long course of time through repetition and faith in the process, we're going to give up because it didn't work the first time. And so our mind is going to say, it's rubbish, stop doing this. And it's saying that to keep us doing the same things. Because again, remember, whatever we know, whatever has got a track record, is deemed safe as far as the brain is concerned. Kim, I am sorry, Didi Ashton, my brother from another mother, we grew up together. Oh, Ashton is your brother from another, okay, you know each other. Fantastic, fantastic. Don't be sorry, it's good, I'm happy with that. Ashton, Kim, Kim at Parisa, if you ever need to talk, just send me a message. A good way to start and gradually expand confidence. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you for this, Kim. Parisa, thank you, Didi. I've been through quite a lot of trauma, and I'm trying to understand where it comes from instead of pushing those memories away. Good on you. Keep going. Parisa, Kim, thank you. I appreciate it. Kevin, hi, Pumpkin Puff. I am doing well today. Fudu, yes, it does make sense. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you. Genji, why do you think that evil people are evil? Do you think it is only because of trauma? People are not evil. People are evil within a context, but not fundamentally evil. Acts are evil. Words are evil. Not taking action can be evil. But everything is contextual. So no one is inherently evil. However, in the context of humanity, some people are evil. In the context of a family, some people are evil. In the context of mental health, some people are evil. In the context of da 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 da. But a person is never inherently evil. It is what we do, what we say, or what we allow within the context that makes us come across as a person who is evil. Right? I hope it makes sense. And so now, in the context of humanity, some people at the moment in the news are showing us that they've been evil for a long time, for like 48 years. And so why are they like that? Because they've been traumatized indeed. Because they suffered from trauma, from generational trauma, from transgenerational trauma. Transgenerational trauma is when we've been through so much that our genes are going to change. It's going to alter the expression of our genes, so much so when it's passed onto the next generation will have the same symptoms as if they've been through the same trauma, even though they have never witnessed it. But here's the thing, generational trauma is from a parent to a child. So it means that since the parent is traumatized, it's not just genetic. The behavior being traumatized will also affect the kids. Transgenerational trauma skip a generation. So it means that now, let's say my granddad or my grandmom had some trauma, horrible stuff, skip my parents, and still I'm born, I'm going to have the same symptoms as if I had the trauma as well. It's going to distort my experience of reality. And so typically, people who survived atrocious things, example, Holocaust survivors, right? But also Native American genocide survivors, war survivors of any sort, the people who suffer from being slaves in America because they were from Africa. So many of those situations have created transgenerational trauma that can, so far we have found out that it can skip up to 7 generations. It's so embedded into the cells. And that explains why those things are happening in the Middle East now, because those people, they don't realize that they are traumatized. So it's going to distort the perception of reality. And when you're in a survival mode, you're going to believe it's either the prey or the predators. We can never be the prey ever again. We have to become the predators. And now we have to destroy all of them. Otherwise, we will never survive, ever. And because there are some narcissistic people at the top who are fueling this furthermore to really have more power, now we have the state of the world as it is. I'm sure that you understood what I meant, right? Genji, to answer what you asked about shame, I feel shame because I feel that I could have tried more, but I failed. In regards to what could have you tried more? What are we talking about? Could you give me more context, please? Very often we hold on to shame because shame helps us. And so as a child, I create shame because I believe that if it's because of me that my parents are behaving like that, then it means it gives me hope. It means that I can still change the behavior of my parents by somehow being a better boy or a better girl. And so in that sense, shame is useful in that moment. And we forget to upgrade this, and we live our life with that. After that, it has just become a habit. It explains everything. Why is my life in such a state of disarray? Because of me. Shame. Control of illusion, I understand. It's because of me. So I need the shame to kind of explain everything about my life. And it's not a good idea. Forest Burger. There's a great balance of evil and good in this world. We only notice the bad or evil over the good. We should all try to embrace and look for the good things in life. We want to do both. We want to look at the good things to feel better about ourselves, but we also want to acknowledge the bad things to help people, right? Because if we are just thinking, everything is butterfly and sunshine, now we're dismissing the suffering of so many people who could benefit from our help. So if we can help them, we should. If we can't, if we're overwhelmed, I agree with you. Butterflies, flowers, we must look after ourselves first. And, we're going to all go through our journey, and maybe we'll be able to help others at some point later on in our own journey. But I think that it's not just this or that. Nothing is ever just this or that. The way that I see it is that we want to indeed appreciate that there's a lot of goodness and beauty and kindness in the world. Because if you're not aware of that, we're just going to have a nervous breakdown and lose it. But also, some people suffer. And so showing empathy and compassion for that makes us better human beings. I'm sure you agree with me, don't you, Forrest? Johan KABG. Being with God is comfort. Being outside of God can be discomfort, if not expressing God. Why are you talking about God? What do you mean by God? Please explain yourself. And just so you know, if you're, I don't tolerate religious narcissists on my page. But if you want to genuinely talk about God, spirituality, I'm happy to do this. Kevin, helplessness. Just helplessness? Seaside Sinner, you are so true with your words. That's why kindness is so healing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Seaside. Kevin, Dr. Overton did that study. I don't know who is Dr. Overton. Let me check out. Dr. Overton. Overton surgery. Lisa Overton. I am a queer feminist academic. I like her already. Working on intersectionalities linked to genders, sexualities, da 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 da. Okay, sounds good to me. If it's Lisa, but there's also Ian Overton. There's a Caroline Overton. There's a Tom Overton. So many doctors Overtons. There's a Tim, Dr. Tamzin Overton. Dr. Robert David Charles Overton. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but I liked the sound of the first one, Lisa, because she's queer. Seaside, I can't find those works for others. So easy, and with me, I struggle. What are we talking about? I understand. It was a previous conversation. It's easier to work on others than on self. Okay. If that's the case, I'm really behind. Guys, this is live. If you put any comment, I will come to you at some point. It's 7:41. Just bear with me, please. Gosh. George said hi. Hello, George. Kim, Didi, about the psychological aspect, I find documentaries like, for example, Richard Kuklinski, Iceman, interesting course of what psychiatrists describe about childhood, for example. Okay, I don't know about the studies, but I'm glad that you have some reference that you can relate to in regards to the things that I say. Okay, that's good. Pumpkin Puff, Didi, how are you feeling today? I'm good, thank you. Genji, people and emotions are so complex. Thank you for your insight. Thank you, Genji. Forest Burger, Didi, there's an interesting study of generational conditioning with fleas kept in a jar. After one generation of fleas, yeah, I read about it. The fleas could no longer jump more than the height of the jar. Yes, I don't know if it's true or not, because there's a lot of things like that online. But if it was true, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I think that with the fleas, it's not generational trauma. It's just that they're used to something and they adapt to what they're used to be doing. I think it's more about an adaptation thing. I don't think it's to do with trauma. I don't think that fleas are traumatized of being in a jar like people are traumatized being at war. But I think I can see what you're coming from. Kevin, Temple University, Philip, PA for Dr. Overton behavior. Okay, so it's not Lisa. A behaviorist. Dr. So I don't have the first name. It's in Philadelphia. I've got one in Basingstoke in the UK. I don't think it's the same. Actually, I came to the end of the thread. I thought I was long behind, but I'm not. I'm going to have a sip of my hot chocolate, but it's no longer hot now. Pumpkin Puff, sorry I was late, but I made it before you left. It's okay. Anything you want to say? I'm still here. I'm still here for another 15 minutes. Forrest, we are limited by the environment we are in. Yes, I agree. Hence, we must push ourselves to strive for our best. I agree with you. But it's not that we must. I understand what you mean. But when you say we must push ourselves to strive for our best, this is where I disagree, in the sense that I believe that we are all already doing our best. I genuinely, sincerely, wholeheartedly believe that we are all, always, every single day doing our best. Not a single person is not doing their best. But it's just that we expect people to be like us. We forget that people come from different perspectives, they have different baggage, and so their best may not be the best as our best. Again, when people say they're not trying to heal on purpose, they're not choosing to do the homework, they don't want to change, and it's not true. We all do whatever that we can based on our personal story and our personal baggage, and because of that, that's why I need to say this. I agree, I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate your input. It's very kind and it's very positive. But it's important to say, as far as my perspective of the world is concerned, that everyone is doing their best all the time. Because otherwise, that is going to bring some pressure on some people, saying, "Oh, are you saying that I'm not trying my best? Oh, there's something wrong with me. Why am I not doing my best?" And I see so many people like that, many of my clients who are struggling at the beginning with me because they are doing better, but they don't acknowledge that because it's not good enough for them. So that is creating resistance. But if you can focus on the progress rather than arriving exactly where we want to be within that frame of time, then that is going to create complication. And most of us, we do this, we don't realize this. So I agree with you, we're limited by environment, but we are also challenged and we can use our environments to grow. But I don't believe that we must push ourselves. I believe that we are already doing our best. I really believe that. What do you say, Forrest? Kim, what I found interesting about it was that Kuklinski had a bad upbringing like me, but he had predisposition to fearlessness, which made the genes and his life catastrophic and violent. Yes, okay, we're all different. So we have different ways to deal with adversity. For some of us, it's going to be through aggression, forceful. For some others, it's going to be through avoidance, again, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or flop. The different ways to deal with things. And so based on on a lot of factors, our predisposition to life is going to create good or bad. Everything about life is down to two things. About first, our predisposition to things, and two, to our environment, the things. And together, that creates something. And it's going to be different for all of us. Do you want me to have a look on it? Let me have a look. So we have Dr. Kuklinski, UCLA, Santa Monica. Is that it? Is it Richard Kuklinski? The Iceman, so you mentioned it. It was an American criminal and leader of a New Jersey-based burglary ring. I thought it was a doctor. He engaged in criminal activities. So it's a big thing. I can't read the whole thing. But Barbara described her husband's behavior as alternating between good Richie and bad Richie. Good Richie was a hardworking provider, affectionate father, and loving husband. And bad Richie was prone to unpredictable fits of rage, smashing furniture, being violent to his family, physically abusive to his wife. So let's see. So Kuklinski, mental health diagnosis. So he was a psychopath. He was widely concluded to be a psychopath and antisocial behavior. So you say that what I found interesting about it was he had bad upbringing like me, but he had predisposition to fearlessness. So it's not the predisposition of fearlessness. Okay, no, maybe it is. Yeah. When you are a psychopath, we don't have the same attitude toward fear and emotions in general. So yeah, I get you. I get you. So it's a good thing that you're not the same, right? Yeah, he was more likely than not a psychopath. Kevin, progress, not perfection. Yes, focus on the progress. Focus on the doing, not the outcomes. And this way, you never stop. And this is what success is about. It's about consistency. Afroman, funny story from your time in prison. Afroman, I'm not sure. My gut is telling me that you're trying to be disruptive here. So please don't. Please be kind. I'm trying to help people here. If you need some help, I'm happy to do that. Right? If not, this is not the place for you. Kim, I'm luckily far from violent, but yes, you're so correct. Okay. Yes. Forrest, absolutely agree with you. 1% growth is better than no growth, whether it's in health or relationship or business. Yes, absolutely. I think a lot of time we get stuck in a comfort zone sometimes in life. Some of us get stuck in a comfort zone, but some of us also get stuck in trying too hard to always be outside of the comfort zone. Think about all those guys who want to be strong and be successful and prove everyone that better than others. And it's really about the balance of yin and yang. Jenny on the hill. Damn, gotta go to work. Super interesting conversation. Thanks. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny, if you are interested by that, all my live streams are to be found the next day on my channel. So it takes pretty much a day for YouTube to fully upload my live streams. But every single live stream that I do always are to be found on my channel sometime the following day. So if you enjoyed this and if you want to retrieve some information, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I would highly appreciate that. And then tomorrow you can find it again. And I come here live on YouTube twice a week, every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. UK time. I'm always here. Unless something bad happened to me, unless I'm very ill or I've got some emergency and I can't access or have the time to do this. But so far I've been doing quite well. So you can always find me here if you find this interesting or if you know someone who could benefit from my help and expertise. Thank you, Jenny. Kim, from my comfort zone, even today is gaming, but I've challenged into becoming a creator instead, which I feel for me is good therapy. Okay, good on you. So what do you mean by, how did you turn gaming into creating? Did you just switch your mindset or did you do something differently? I challenged it into becoming a creator. Would you mind sharing with us what you've done? And I'm glad that you're not a psychopath. Just to conclude on the previous conversation. Although again, people who are psychopaths, they don't choose that either. People must be addressed by law, but if we can understand the origins of it, we can ensure that the next generations don't have to deal with people who are going to be suffering from that and creating problems in society because of it. Pumpkin Puff, I'm struggling with trust still, nervous about everyone and their attentions. So give me an example. What situation happened to you lately, today or yesterday, that gets you to mention this? Who don't you trust? We can talk about this if you want, but you gotta be more specific, please. Kevin, you're so good at describing the process. Okay, thank you, Kevin. I'm glad you appreciate. Kim, I started make plug-in for animations and the music. Okay, fantastic. And yes, I'm glad I'm not a psycho either. I just find it interesting field. Yes, the psychopathy world, it can be very fascinating indeed. There's a part of us that wants to know. There's some sort of morbid curiosity, but also there's a part of us who wants to be safe. So if we can understand the darkest souls out there, that gives us an insight of things. So I can understand why some people are fascinated. I don't watch enough of those things. I should whenever I have time because it's part of the things that I do. Yeah. My husband loves to watch all of those series about psychos. And I watched a bit of one with him called Ed Gein on Netflix. And I watched the end and it was very, very emotional because the guy is portrayed the way that I see them. So basically, he is a psycho, but he never intended to do that. And and you can see the two sides of that story at the end, and it's quite special. You never see that. Generally speaking, in the public eye, there's always the good guys and the bad guys. Whereas for once, people have been that Ryan Murphy in that series has tried to depict him as a monster and as a victim as well. And this is the truth. We are all both. We never choose what we are. Um, and it's possible to have compassion both for the victims and for the criminals as well. If we have enough, unless we still have a lot of fear. Kim, yes, like why does it happen? What triggers it, etc. Okay, no, I skipped one. Pumpkin Puff. People who randomly talk to me are in public. I get some people are just trying to be nice, but I learned long ago that I can't trust strangers. Okay. So you are still dealing with a lot of things, and that's why you're like that. So I can't give you any hack because I know that you have a lot of heavy stuff to deal with. Right? The hack that I would give you is to change your internal dialogue. As long as you think people are bad, people are bad, people are bad, but it's like adding gas on the fire. I don't know if it's an expression. adding some more pieces of wood in the fire, something like that. But at your level, because I know that you have BPD and most probably CPTSD, then there's much more to address. And it's all happening at a subconscious emotional level. It's not here. And so all I can say is keep doing the work that you do in regards to your BPD. And this, I believe, should be the list of your concerns anyway, right? Kim, yes, like why does it happen? What triggers it, etc. So we're talking about, yeah, psychopathy. Yes, indeed. Kim, yes, Ed Gein was a psycho, but yet a kind soul in his own way. He was a kind soul, but he would turn into something else because XYZ. To be honest with you, the way that I see it, everyone is in prison or do crimes because of things that they have never chosen. Even the narcissists and psychos that are running the world, they're like that because of their own baggage. If you don't have empathy, you can't experience a human experience. And that in itself, to me, is hell. And so. Forest, yes, that's an intriguing documentary on Netflix. I find it very fascinating. Yeah. Pamini Puff. Right, I'm just becoming very antisocial and feel that I can't speak to people. Are there people with whom you can talk to? Are there some people with whom you can be yourself, or no one at all in the world? What I would suggest you, maybe, is to try to look around and see if there are some group of people who have the same sort of conditions as you do. Anyone who is neurodivergent in any way. Because if you can meet people like that, they will be more open-minded and accepting because we're probably going through the same. So that could be a good place to look for socializing. Pumpkin Puff, but you're right, I'm dealing with too much. Yes, anyway, it's not your priority, right? It's like someone who is depressed telling me, why can't I have appetite? Because you're depressed. So it's not about what recipe you're going to cook for your dinner tonight. It's about addressing the depression. Kim at Forest. Yes, it is. There are many on YouTube also about Ted Bundy, for example, and many others. Pumpkin Puff. Every alarm bell in my head goes off almost all the time. I have my husband to talk to. Okay, so you have your husband. We talked about it. You have pets as well, don't you? You have 2 or 3 dogs. I think you have at least 2 dogs, haven't you? So that's 2 dogs and your husband. You have 3 people. Some people have nothing. You already have 3. That's amazing, right? 4, you have me. You can come to see me twice a week. I'm always here. So it's not a bad place to start, is it? It's not a bad thing to realize that you're not as lonely as you think you are. Pumpkin Puff, oh yes, I can talk to my dogs. Absolutely. When I had dogs, I talked to them every day. We had some fantastic conversations. They always agreed with me. So yes. Thank you for the little hearts. I don't feel lonely. I just feel I can't trust people. Okay? So if you don't feel lonely, then it's not a problem. You don't have to trust people. What you want to do is to trust yourself. Work on trusting yourself. And eventually, when you can trust yourself, then you will naturally start to trust people. Remember, I don't know if I'm sure that we had that chat before, but there's an analogy that I often use, and it's birds who are sitting on branches. Birds, they don't care about the strength of the branch they are sitting on because they have wings. They don't rely on the strength of the branches. They rely on their own wings. And this is the thing. Instead of you thinking, I must trust them, the branches, trust yourself, my wings. If you can learn how to trust yourself, now it doesn't matter. You can be with anyone and you can be yourself. And the moment you realize that they are hostile or narcissistic, then fly away. It's super easy. Piece of cake. You never needed to trust people. You always only needed to trust just yourself. And if you can do that, and this is where you should focus your attention to, then your life will be a walk in the park. Once you trust yourself, you trust people. Forest, lots of interesting documentaries on Jack the Ripper, the Zodiac Killer, Charlie Manson, the Waco event. All of them were great at manipulation and some serial killers. Yes, a lot of them. Kim, I think that this is the beauty of having an animal around. They see you so well. Of course, yes. I say that often, but to me, all animals, particularly dogs, because I have an attachment with dogs. You may see it here. I don't know if you can see. There's a doggy somewhere. I believe that dogs are angels in disguise, like literal angels from the sky. And they're here to make our life better. That's my belief. Pumpkin Puff. I just don't like feeling like everyone is out to hurt me or that I need to be on edge. So you're a bit paranoid, suspicious. You feel that you are not safe out there. So keep working on yourself. We're coming, it's 8 o'clock, so I'm not going to linger much longer. But if you want to carry on with the conversation next week, and for anyone else, I want you to remember, guys, that I'm here every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. UK time. So if you enjoy this, please subscribe so that you have a notification when I go live, and join. And if you have any friends, bring them along. Also, check my long form content. Every week on YouTube, I post one long form video. And so the one that I put out this week on Wednesday was about how to stay positive in a toxic world. Check it out, please, and let me know in the comment section how you feel about it. It's a 10 minutes video. I'm also on TikTok, but I spend more time on YouTube. And so that's it. I'm going to read the last comment now. This Vigicadity. I lost my cat recently and she was the best friend I had. I'm sorry to hear this. Yes, I have my fiance and some family and friends, but you know, and now it's hard to find a point to restart hope in the future. I hope that things will get better for you in the future. If you want to talk about it more, come back next week and we can have a long conversation about it. Pumpkin Puff, correct. I will be like a bird and talk with my dogs in the meantime. There you go. Be a bird and be a dog. I used to say that often, that my dogs were my masters and teachers of mindfulness. Genji, thank you, Didi. Thank you, Genji. Kim, cute dog. Yes, they're my fave also, but I love cats too. I had a cat, but just because my last 3 animals were dogs. So there you go. I grew up on farm, so I was lucky to have many animals around. Okay, fantastic. That's beautiful. Yes, I would have loved to have chickens, cows, donkeys, sheep, goats, whatever. Ducks. Angela Amzeb. Be well, Didi. Be well all. Thank you so much, Angela. Pumpkin Puff. Hope you have a good night. Thanks for the short chat. Pleasure. This sick, I'll do it. Thanks, Didi. Thank you. Kim, thank you again, Didi. Have a great weekend, everyone. Guys, I love you all. Take care. Thank you so much. I wish you a great day or great evening wherever you are. And hopefully I'll see you next on my live or wherever I am, somewhere on social media. Okay? Have a great weekend, all of you. Bye-bye for now. Forrest, let's all go out and walk. It's a great idea. I'm absolutely going to do this actually. After the live, I'm going to go for a walk in my local park and touch grass, hug a tree, smile at a stranger, enjoy the weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.